So hey guys, I'm Bluenbroke. You probably are here from TikTok. Welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm basically going to be covering my most frequently asked question in my comments, which is, can you help me with some advice on how to come out? So yeah, let's start. So a little disclaimer first is that this is my own personal advice, my own opinion. So please don't take this as fact. You are welcome to seek elsewhere for other advice, other opinions on the matter of the topic. But I'm going to give you basically the tips I used when I was coming out in the process that worked for me best. Another little disclaimer quickly is this is being shot just on my phone. I don't have any high-tech editing software or anything, so it will be pretty much just a straightforward shot from phone video, but I hope it provides the value that you came for. So my massive first step would be, the biggest thing is not to rush. And what I mean by not to rush is you don't need to rush into labeling yourself, putting yourself into a category, fitting yourself into a box and saying, tick, that's it. I think your sexuality can be fluid and it can change depending on times. It's not the same for everyone, but it can definitely move, especially whilst growing up. From being maybe a teenager, thinking about that there's something different there and that your sexuality isn't just being straight, all the way up until adulthood, maybe when you're about 21. Even older than that, you might rediscover yourself and find out that you are a different sexual orientation. So biggest advice is don't rush into putting yourself into a box or into a label and saying, yes, this is what I identify as. However, some people do really enjoy having that thing to say they are. So by all means, if you know who you are and that's what you want to do and you want to say, hey, I am gay, hey, I'm bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, whatever, then you are welcome to do so, but there is in no means a rush to do that. When I also say don't rush, I also mean don't need to rush to come out. It doesn't need to be today, it doesn't need to be tomorrow, it doesn't need to be next week. You don't actually ever have to come out if you don't want to, although some people do feel sensation when they do come out that there's a weight lifted off their shoulder and they can be who they are. Doesn't mean that you have to. So there's no time frame into which you need to, like by the time you're 21 or by the time you're 16, you must know and you must tell everyone. It really is when is best for you. When it comes to actually being able to tell people that you are that sexual orientation you want to identify as, the first thing I sought when I was younger was a support network. A support network is kind of a group of people that perhaps are behind you, support you with what you're going through, and a lot of the time probably are going through similar stuff. So when I was younger, I went onto Tumblr and I had a support network on there. I had an account, I had about, I think, like 10,000 followers, of which loads of people I spoke to every day about insecurities, about things that happened at school, how they told each other, how they told their parents, and from there you kind of gauge what the normal responses are, and it's also just a zone that you can go to and be who you are, especially if you don't have that in the real world, so that's quite good. So you can do that online, but make sure you are safe on whatever websites you're using, follow normal guidelines. So for an example, TikTok is a great place to be right now. There are so many LGBT creators and people, fan pages and people who watch, so just connect with people there and get used to speaking about who you are. You can do it anonymously. You don't exactly have to have anything attached to it and to say that I am Tracy who lives in Eastbourne or whatever. You can be who you want to be, but find people who are similar and go through similar circumstances, probably much like you've come here to seek advice. You can still do that online with other people. Doesn't necessarily just have to be YouTube. But then again, YouTube has a load of coming out advice videos, especially from TikTokers doing them, because it's their frequently asked questions. So please do search elsewhere for some more guidance and advice. Like I said, this is just my personal opinions. Okay, so the next step I did in my road of coming out was creating a support network, in real life. So coming out to very small amounts of people at a time, people that I thought I could really trust. People I thought that wouldn't walk away from me, and people who were also gay or in the LGBT community. So I did it kind of really step by step with my friends, and I did lose friends coming out, and sometimes that does happen, but I say this over and over again. If someone walks out on your life during coming out process, they really are just making a space for someone way more special, someone who will love you unconditionally and support you no matter what. So if people walk out, don't get too upset over it. I know it feels like a big hole in the heart at that time, But when that awesome person walks into your life later on, you'll be like, right, that's why I needed that space. Create a supports network in real life. You will need to probably start coming out to some people. But again, like I said earlier, there's no time frame, there's no rush. For me, I came out to one friend to start off with, and from there I then came out to the rest of that friendship group, kind of one by one, and eventually it got to the point where most of them knew, so I kind of had them all in the same space, and I told them, just so you know, the rumours you're hearing, things you guys have been saying to each other, I am bisexual, because that's what I identified at the time. That seems to be for a lot of people who I do eventually identify themselves as gay, is they'll take that comfy net, that's not the word, but you know what I mean, they'll take that step by coming out as bisexual, and then maybe coming out as gay. But then there are people who are just bisexual and will stay bisexual. So yeah, I'm not saying that's something you have to do, but that's just what I did, is I took it really step by step and slowly. I also came out to some of my friends online who I did know in real life. Sometimes when you're younger as well, it can be a little bit less scary to send them a text than tell them in face to face. But by all means, you do whichever method is best for you. When it comes to coming out to your parents and people that live in the same household as you, there's one major point that I want to make, is you don't need to come out at any point. But the major one is, do not come out until it is safe to do so. So if you know that you have got homophobic parents and there is a high chance that you could possibly be kicked out for them finding out that you don't identify as just straight, then I would say a massive push on wait. Just wait until the time is right. There is no point at 13 years old telling them that you're gay, getting kicked out and having nowhere to go. I would wait until you're maybe 18, you've got a job and you have money, that so if something bad did happen, you could go support yourself in a hotel for a couple of nights, you could go to a new rented apartment or whatever. I really would say that if you're at risk and in danger, then I would definitely wait. Be who you are on the inside, tell your friends all of this, but just be aware that if there is possible danger or risk coming out, my biggest advice on that is wait until you are safe to do so. I'm not saying never tell them, I'm just saying wait. When it does come to telling your parents, there's no specific way to do it. The big thing is just making sure you're ready to do it. You're at that moment in your life and you feel comfortable, you think they should know. Yeah, so you've got to wait for the right moment. When it does come, there is no specific put it on a cake and give it to them. But by all means, you can get creative. If you think your parents are really supportive, put it on a cake. Show them that you're gay through that way. Or put it on a t-shirt. Get creative with it. It's really up to you, the method you choose to come out. I think the way I did it was I tried to drop it really subtly into a conversation, rather than just blurt out like, hey, I'm gay or whatever. I tried to act like it was a normal thing, that it wasn't a shock. Didn't go that well, but that was just the way I tried to do it. But then again, you can go more serious. You can sit them down at the dining room table. You can call a family meeting and say, look, I have an announcement I want to tell you guys. It's completely up to you. There's no specific way to do it. But again, have a look online. There are loads of suggestions on how to do it. I'm not going to go for a list of 200 suggestions right now. But be creative, do it your own way if you want to, or just sit them down, tell them, it's up to you. I think that pretty much kind of sums up my basic advice in coming out. I think that's a good starter point, because I don't want to overload you with information, especially for my first video. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I just got a couple of things to say. Do hit subscribe and notifications on this channel, because I am going to try and produce some more content. I am looking to try and get a camera as well to make it a little bit higher quality, but they are quite expensive. But yeah, make sure you hit subscribe, because I want to do loads of content. If anything, I would really like to transfer all of my followers on TikTok onto YouTube, so I can really pursue that as kind of a career. However, I would love to make this my real job, so make sure you hit subscribe so I can start expanding on my YouTube as well. My last thing as well is, some of you may or may not know, I do have merchandise. I've got a massive range of phone cases, t-shirts, I've got hoodies. There is literally everything on there. It's on my YouTube channel and in the link in my bio on TikTok, so please do check it out. Even if you just buy a sticker or anything, it really does support me in the journey of creating content for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.